Hi, I'm Maya, and this is the channel Bookworm Dreams. So we have been away for a while. Christina is off doing her mom thing. I have been dealing with some medical issues, as you can probably tell. But I recently discovered something that has motivated me to start filming again. And that something is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't been reading since I've been away. I've been reading a lot. If you've been following me on Instagram, I sometimes post my monthly wrap-ups. So I have been reading, but I do want to get back into filming and making videos for the channel. And I think this reading challenge is a great way to get back into it. So what is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do? This is a reading challenge that's been created by Q from QWordy. I will leave the links to her channel and the announcement video for this reading challenge down below in the description box. So please do check that out. So this is the second version of the reading challenge. This is 2.0. The reading challenge started on the 7th of July and is going to end on the 6th of July in 2026. This reading challenge starts on the creator's birthday and then lasts a year. So according to the creator, this reading challenge is designed to be nearly impossible to finish. So here are some general information and rules of this reading challenge, and then in the next part of the video, we'll go through all the prompts. So how does this reading challenge work? So it has a bingo card with 25 prompts. But it's not a typical read one book and fill in the prompt. It's much more complicated than that, because certain prompts require you to read, up to 12 books. There are some that can, there are several prompts that are customizable to you. So if you want, you can make your life easier. But most of the prompts are set in stone and you have to follow the instruction of the prompt. You can use one book to fill in 2 prompts. There are no DNFs. You can reread, but you can reread after you read 10 new books, because the whole point of the challenge is, broaden your reading horizons. There is a rule: if you want to change a prompt, if you find a prompt that you can't fulfill, no matter how hard you try, you can switch that out with a prompt where you have to read 5 books that are indie published or self-published. So, yeah. Now, let's go through the prompts. I will set you up so you can see my reading journal that I created for this reading challenge, because as soon as I saw it and went through the rules and through the prompts and what, I was like, I want to document this somehow, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, I'll show you the pages I created for my reading journal for this challenge. So this is the cover. Here are just some notes I made about the challenge and the rules that I already mentioned in the video. So as I said, there is a bingo board. So as I mentioned before, there is a bingo board with 25 prompts. If you want, you can pause this video here and check out all the prompts, but I'll go through each prompt soon. As I said before, the white prompts are the ones that are set in stone. You have to follow the rules of this prompt. And the ones that are colored in with purple are those that are customizable to you. You'll see when we get to them. All right, so let's go to the first prompt. So the first prompt is by the 100th, which means you have to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books with page numbers that are set in these categories. So you have 100 to 199, 200 to 299, and so on until you get to 700 plus. Here you have to read a book that is over 700 pages. Here I have some possibilities for each of the categories. The next prompt is the 24-hour readathon. To fill in this prompt, you have to take a day to read as much as you can. Challenge yourself to read 3 or more books. Here I just created a form to fill in when I am going to do this challenge, what the start time is, what the end time is, and total time reading. And here I have a little table to fill in as I finish the books with the categories book, page count, and if I've read it or not. So here I'll just put my TBR and then see if I manage to get to it in one day. So this is a 24-hour readathon, but the instruction is that when you go to sleep, the day's over, right? So if you want to stay awake for 24 hours, you can do that. But, you can also just wake up early in the day and then try to read as much as you can throughout the day. The next prompt is the first purple one, which means it's customizable. So here you had to pick a literary genre and then pick 6 subgenres of that genre and read books for that. So I chose fantasy because I read mostly fantasy, and the subgenres I picked were cozy, epic or high fantasy, urban fantasy, romantasy, grimdark, and paranormal. And here are some of my possibilities that I might read for this challenge. The next prompt is the series staircase, which basically means, as you can probably tell from this layout, to fulfill this prompt, you have to read one standalone, you have to read a duology, you have to read a trilogy, and you have to read a series that has 4 books or more. So for this prompt, I will probably continue on with the series. So the next prompt is award season, which basically means you have to pick a bookish award. It could be Goodreads, it could be, I picked the self-published fantasy blog off, it could be the Booker Prize or whatever book competition you find. And to fulfill this prompt, you have to read 7 books from that competition. So you have to have 2 entrants. So basically, books that were on the most basic level of the competition. And then 2 semi-finalists, 2 finalists, and the winner of that competition. So as I said, I will pick a year from the self-published fantasy blog off, or I'll just, go randomly through the winners and whatnot and create my TBR for this. The next prompt is the TBR game challenge. I haven't put anything here because the instruction for this prompt is to find a booktuber's TBR game, one that you haven't played before, and play the game, and then read all the books you get while playing that game. I still haven't picked the game I want to play. I played a couple of Becca's Bookopoly games, and I think that's pretty much it. So I have to find something that's not too complicated, so I don't get a bunch of 7 or 8 books to read for this challenge. But yeah, I have to find a TBR game and then read the books again. The next prompt is the last 10 years. So basically you have to read a book per year. So from 2015 to 2025. I picked the Goodreads SF category for the Goodreads awards, and I picked a sci-fi book that I haven't read from that year. Next, we have a sort of, for me, a bit easier prompt. It's called All the Adaptations. We have several categories in this for this challenge. So you have modern retelling, musical, graphic novel or comic, play, TV show, web series, animation, or movie. Of all those, we have to read modern retelling and graphic novel or comic. All the other things you can either watch/listen to. For a modern retelling, I picked Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. This is a modern retelling of Peter Pan. For the musical, I'm going to watch Frozen. It just arrived on Disney Plus. I'm looking forward to it. So the source material for Frozen is The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. It's not a retelling. It's loosely based on, but I'm counting it because I want to watch Frozen the musical. For the graphic novel or comic, I'm going to read Heartstopper Volume 1. For play, I'm going to read Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare, and then I'm going to watch, they filmed a version of the play when the 2 main characters were played by David Tennant and Catherine Tate. So I will try to find that version somewhere and watch it. I did see the newer version in London at the beginning of the year, where the 2 main characters were played by Tom Hiddleston and Hayley Atwell. So that's why I'm picking this one to read. Then for the TV show, I'm going to watch the first season of Lock and Key. It says in the instruction, if you want to be extra, you can both watch and read stuff. I could read Peter Pan after rereading this, but am I going to? Probably not. So that's for a TV show. I will watch Lock and Key. I read the graphic novel for this years ago. So for the web series, there is a link on, there's a whole web page for this reading challenge, and there's a part of the web page, useful links. And here there is a link for all the web series. If you guys remember, a couple of years ago, there was more than a couple of years ago, there was a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, which was called the Lizzie Bennet Diaries or something like that. So this is what they're referring to when they say web series. For the animation category, I will be watching What If series. I think it's season 4 now that I'm at, or season 3. I don't remember, but I'll watch the season that I have to watch. This is a Marvel series, so basically based on Marvel comics. And for the movie, I'm going to watch Mickey 17. You can find it now on HBO. And I already read the source material Mickey 7 2 years ago, I think. The next challenge, the next prompt is the disability challenge. Basically, you have to read 5 books that deal with 5 different disabilities. And here are some of my possibilities for this challenge. The next challenge is the Heritage Months. You have to read 9 books to commemorate 9 different heritages. That sounds weird. That's a weird word. Basically, there is one for Disability Pride, where you have to read a book that deals with disability or has a main character that has a disability and whatnot. Then we have one for Hispanic Heritage, one for Indigenous Heritage, Black History Month, Women's History, Arab Heritage, Jewish Heritage, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage, and of course the LGBTQ plus Pride. So I think you get like extra points if you read them in the month that the heritage, when the specific heritage is commemorated, but you can of course read as you get to the books. Next comes Translation Challenge. You have to read 5 books that have been translated from 5 different languages. So you can't read, like for me, I'm Croatian, so if I read Croatian translations of 5 books in English, it wouldn't really fit. So 5 different languages, 5 different books. The next prompt is Around the World, which means you have to read a book for each of the continents, and bonus is Antarctica. So basically read a book that is either set in one of the continents or the author is from one of the continents. So one for North America, one for South America, one for Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, and bonus for Antarctica. So if you do know of a science fiction book or a fantasy book or maybe even a horror book that is set in Antarctica, please do let me know, because I'm missing a book for this one. Then the next prompt is the Even Bigger Rainbow. So since this is the second version of this challenge, in the first version they had a rainbow, but I guess it was simpler than this one. So basically this is a book cover challenge. You have to read a book whose cover has more than 50% of a specific color. So you have red, orange, yellow, green, teal, light blue, but I messed up when I was writing the colors, purple, pink, black, white, silver, or gold, and one with 7 or more colors. The next challenge is Make a Quote. So for this challenge, you have to find or write down your favorite quote. It could be a book quote, a song lyric, or whatever, and then pick books for each word in the prompt. So I picked the quote, "In the darkness there be dragons," and this is the beginning of a speech that Captain Flint makes at the end of Black Sails. This is a TV show from, oh my god, it's been off the air for a while now. So yeah, this is a really, really cool TV show that was first released on Starz. It was based on the book Treasure Island, and you follow, Captain Flint and Long John Silver as they, deal with piratey shit. But yeah, so this is the quote, and I have to find books whose title contain one of the words. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have to read 6 books to fulfill this prompt. Next we have the spooky creatures. You have to read books that have specific spooky creatures. So you have vampires, shifters, magic users, fae folk, spirits, merfolk, zombie, and other creatures. If you have some recommendations for any of these, please do let me know. So the next prompt is Become the Avatar. So you have to master the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. So you can either read 4 books where these elements are represented in the cover of those books, or you can read 4 books that have these elements represented in the titles. The next prompt is to participate in the Readathon Challenge. I am participating in Aurelium, have been since it started, so I will just pull down my TBR for the autumn equinox of the Aurelium Readathon. Next prompt, Animal Friends. So basically you have to read 5 books, and in those 5 books, a specific type of animal has to be featured in it. It can't be just like a one-off. They don't have to have the main role, but it would be nice if they were somehow important to the plot of the story. So I have to read a book with house pets, exotic pets, farm animals, wild animals, and zoo animals. All right. And here you can see my awful attempt of tracing animals. I think this is a dog, this is a kangaroo, this is a snake, and this is a really weird looking horse. Then the next prompt is the even bigger queer alphabet. As I said, this is second version of this readathon, so of course it's more expansive and inclusive and more difficult. So here you have to read a book where specific members of the queer alphabet are featured. So you have so these are the categories: so gay, lesbian, bisexual or pansexual, transgender, intersex, asexual, polyamory. How do you say this word? I don't know how to say this word. So this one, non-binary or agender, and gender fluid or two-spirit. I think I have most of them figured out what I want to read. The only one I'm struggling with is this one, so I have to figure out more. Or if you have any recommendations for books that feature intersex characters, please do let me know down below in the comments. The next prompt, your favorite hardest reading challenge, hrcyed, as I say it, one prompt. So basically, you have to pick a prompt from the first version of this reading challenge. So I picked the prompt, read a 500-page book in one day. I did this before. I managed to read like a tome in a day. So I think I could do this. So I created like 2 attempts blogs here. So attempt 1. So I basically date when I'm going to do this, probably when I have to spend like 8 hours in the hospital. That's probably when this is going to happen. The book I pick and pages and the format. The format will probably be immersive reading, which means I will be reading the either physical copy of the book or on my e-reader and then listen to the audiobook at the same time because that's how you get through big books in one day. So the next prompt is BIPOC authors. For this prompt, you have to read 10 books written by 10 different authors from backgrounds that differ from your own. See, now this is open to interpretation, I think. I have to actually check out the video that the creator made with frequently asked questions to see if maybe she specifies. But, you know, I'm a white woman from Croatia. So basically, if I read someone who is from America, they do have a different background than my own, or someone from England or whatnot, you know. I have to check it out. But I have created a little like table for all the 10 books that I have to read. So basically book, author, and what their representation is and how it differs from my own. The next prompt is a new release challenge. For this prompt, you have to read a new release for each month of this challenge. So starting from July to June, and it has to be read within 60 days of its release. I do have a sort of TBR set till I think November. Then we'll see, you know, at the end of the year, like what's coming out next year, and then fill out the TBR from there. The next prompt, as you can see, it's an empty page here because the prompt is to challenge yourself. And until recently, I didn't really know what I was going to do, but then I decided I was going to finish my R Fantasy Bingo reading challenge because I haven't done so in the last 2 years. I haven't even been close. I've been I read maybe 50 or 60% of the challenge. So, which means I've read between 12 and 15 books out of the 25 that I'm supposed to read for the challenge. So to challenge myself, I will be finishing the Art Fantasy Bingo Reading Challenge this year. I picked some cool books. And yeah, I want to read them and I want to finish the challenge. So that's my challenge for this prompt. Next, we have a non-fiction challenge. For the non-fiction challenge, we have to read 5 non-fiction books with 5 different topics or genres. But yeah, this might be a challenge because I don't really read a lot of nonfiction and I don't really have a lot of nonfiction books on my TBR. So I'm going to have to do some research and find stuff that interests me and read about them. Could I read a dinosaur book, like an actual, like scientific dinosaur book? We'll see. And the last prompt is Q's recommendations. As I said, Q was the creator of this challenge. So basically we have to go through their booktube channel, Instagram, and TikTok if you have TikTok. So you have to find one of the mini reviews that she created for a book and then read that book. Then you have to find a full reading vlog of hers and read a book that she featured in one of her reading vlogs and read a book that she featured in one of her shorts or reels. And then when you read it, you should, come to a conclusion. Like, do you think that it was worse than what Q said about the book, even better than what Q said about the book, or you fully agree with Q's review of the book? And that's it. Those are the prompts for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. So I will be doing it. I will try to vlog my way through it. I'll see in which way I'll do that. But yeah, if you find this interesting and you want to participate, please do check out the videos down below. And if you want to follow me along as I try to finish this hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!